The bottom line. It's time for the bottom line, aka the terrible twos. Here we go. Final two questions of the show, the two most important questions. Then why'd you wait this long? I don't know. Here we go. Question number one is:
we're trying to torture you.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Michael Canyon Rosenberg, lead the way for us as you always do, and tell us what you would rate the first episode of Doom Patrol, entitled, shockingly, like the first street of every city, Pilot.
First street. I like this one quite a bit. I think more than kind of like what Ryan was saying too, more than even all the characters, which I did enjoy all the characters. I enjoyed seeing all their backstories and their origin stories, but more than even that was just the storytelling style, the kind of I don't want to say completely disjointed, but semi-disjointed, going on tangents, and just not straight ahead storytelling, but a little bit off. I really enjoyed that, and I thought that it was very well done, edited very well, and for that I'm going to give this show Doom Patrol on HBO Max from DC Comics.
Drum roll.
On 8.7.
Ooh,
yeah,
spicy.
Yeah.
That's a good rating.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Nice. That's good. Doom Patrol's getting a holiday card. Good job, Doom Patrol. Good job.
Okay. By the way, speaking of Doom Patrol, I did make a couple jokes to myself that I'd like to share. When the lady was smoking a doob, I was like, "Oh, Doob Patrol," which I thought was very funny. Thank you, Bridget.
It's not.
And then when the lady turned into the blob, I was like, "Goop Patrol."
Goop Patrol,
maybe less
also
funny.
good.
No,
you get a slow no from Michael.
No.
I'm just like giggling. I'm like, yes, give me more.
I'll take one out of 2.
Want to talk about other things that we wish we would have mentioned? I can mention this.
Yes.
I wrote down a note while we were watching the race in the cars. I was like, it's gonna take a lot more than this for me to like NASCAR. He like had it
Totally. Sorry, NASCAR.
That's a solid joke right there. That's solid.
Thank you. I try my best for you people.
What about Formula One? Even lower,
yes.
right?
No, not. I don't even know what that means because I don't like it.
Okay. But now, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode? Including the NASCAR stuff?
Including the NASCAR stuff? Well, as you know, I do like superpowers. I did enjoy that portion of this. I enjoyed how much similarities it had to X-Men. So that was all going for it. And I also must say I enjoyed that montage that reminded me that, train towns take a long time to build. They do. So I'm gonna say this is a 7 for me. This is a solid 7. I'm not gonna give it a decimal point because that's too much. I think 7 is good. I think don't push me, Doom Patrol, or I'm gonna knock this down to a 6 point something.
She's tough.
This is a solid 7. It was fun.
Yeah.
But again, I have a lot of questions about like whether or not these were. I feel like Michael answered in chatting with him more than the episode did by itself, which isn't great, but it's still entertaining. So I would still say it's a 7, highly watchable, but not like my favorite of the favorites, which would be like a Umbrella Academy or something.
So if you guys want to see Bridget jumping out of her skin, she's telling you watch our episode where we review Umbrella Academy.
It's all an episode.
Not just me, Sussman also.
Josh Sussman, yeah, he always kills it.
As well.
He's hilarious.
He had
we love him.
The little bobblehead doll. So we were both on the same page with that one.
So if you love Josh Sussman and everything else that we've mentioned, check it out. Oh, it's Captain Picard. Hey, he only wore that jacket in like one episode in the entire series. Can you believe it? So that is like a 1 episode toy.
No, it was
Yeah.
a couple episodes.
Maybe 2, but 1 or 2. He only wore that Borg outfit in like 2 episodes too.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go, guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, I agree with both Michael and Bridget on half of what they've given. Michael gave an
Nice.
8.7. Bridget gave a 7.0. I agree with the 7 part, and I'm adding a 5 to it. It's going to be a 7.5 because I really liked the storytelling. I really felt the pain of a couple of the characters. I liked a lot of the things. I liked the backstories that were presented to us. I was very happy with how they presented these stories, these backstories of the characters, but I was very severely disappointed with the way it ended. It ended in the same manner that Static Shock did, which was, okay, you watch the entire thing that's a backstory, and then at the very end, you're introduced to a bad guy, but you don't see anything. You don't see any battle. You don't see more bad guys. All it is like, okay, and now here comes the bad guy. And you're like, okay, oh, it's over. Okay, so that entire first episode was all exposition, and you've got to end the episode with something. You got to give us
They did. They ended it
something.
with a farting donkey.
Yeah, that donkey farted and a wormhole appeared. And I was just like, wow. That was not on my bingo card.
Well, no, but it said that guy's motto, which is the mind is the limit or something like that. But
yeah,
not in a way I would have expected.
Yeah.
That I did not. Nowhere in my dream journal was that one.
Yeah. So 7.5 for me. It would have been an 8 if there were a better end or a good ending, or maybe even an 8.5 or 9 if I was blown away by the ending. But
I am very impressed. I think this is the only time that I've rated something lower than you have, because usually I'm like the Paula Abdul of this group.
Yes, you are.
Everything sounds great.
It's a no from me. It's a no from me.
You know what? No, I'm gonna say it's a solid 7 for me.
I was gonna rate it about that low too, but then I reminded myself that you really deserve points for the writing style that I keep mentioning, because that is something that is usually lost in a lot of these shows. So I really wanted to kind of boost it up for that. But anyway, enough about that. What people really want to know is what's the real bottom line. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Doom Patrol. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that is the second question. And my answer to that second question is yes. Yes, I would. Yeah.
The double switch.
Oh man, I thought he was going there, and then I thought he wasn't, and then I thought, yep, he is.
At first I thought he was going there, and then I thought he was going there, and he went there.
Very exciting.
Bridget, don't think you get to just comment on what Michael said. Now you have to give your answer.
What?
Now you're on the hot
response?
seat. You think it's easy, but it's not.
Oh,
you're on the hot seat.
I
now.
get to go first because I'm the bravest, but then now you have to go also.
He also buys us time. We get to like think about it, what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
That's
hard.
why I
It's
try
not-
to stall. It's like stretch it out. But now you have to answer.
Okay.
It worked.
I was intrigued by this. I'm a kind of a coin flip on whether or not I would watch this again. It depends on how many other things I've got to see. Did you guys see there's a new season of The Circle? I mean, it really depends on what's available, people. Then I'm a maybe. I'm a maybe on this one.
There's no maybes though.
Yeah.
But there is in life. May attend.
But the question is, based on this first episode, would you theoretically watch the second?
Based on this episode and our conversations, I would watch the second one. But based on the episode alone, I would not. I think because you've been like, well, perhaps it's because this is a disability to them. Perhaps then they get to learn this thing. I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't want to commit to something that's bad storytelling, but I think that if you're right that they are like,
You're not
part.
saying, by the way, that you will watch the second episode.
I could.
I think it sounds like
Saying
a
that
no
you
to me.
would.
If it's based on just this episode, it's a no, huh?
I don't know though. I don't want to say no because maybe I will one day. Who knows?
But it's not whether
Life
you
is
will or
crazy.
won't. It's would you or won't you?
I would, perhaps.
Would you or would you not? So she
Maybe.
would. That's a yes.
I would. I'll give it I would.
Wow. All right, Michael, you
I
are
don't
very
like saying
convincing.
no because here's the thing is like I know that I enjoy stuff and so sometimes I'll just be curious. I'll go back.
Right. Yeah. And there have been times where I said, no, I wouldn't watch the next episode of a show. And I end up doing it. And there are many times that we say, yes, I would watch the next episode, but we haven't yet. It's just theoretically, would you of your own volition, not, we don't hold your feet to the fire. And let me show you how it's done. No, I would not watch the second episode. Okay. And I'll tell you
Curtis,
why.
man.
I'll tell you why. It's because of that ending. If they gave me a better ending, then I probably would have. But that ending fell flat. There was nothing there. They thought that they could just.
You weren't curious about why, like what was going to happen next?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No,
I liked the characters and I wanted to be more interested in whatever was happening next, but they didn't give us a what's happening next. They gave us a what might happen next. They're like, hey, there's a tornado, but for all we know, the four of them could just get in the truck and just leave or walk away. And then that's it. Like you got to, I don't know, you got to give me more in an ending, but this is what we see a lot of times in pre-existing franchises is they're comfortable. They're like, oh, they'll watch the second episode. I don't need to earn their trust. We're DC, okay? They're going to watch the second. If this was a brand new thing that nobody heard of, they would have given you more in the ending because they know that they can't hook you just from their name. And for that reason, sadly, I have to say no, although I think the show was good and I was very happy with some of the things. I'm not in any way, I'm not hooked. They didn't do anything that hooked me. Sorry.
I said this in the last episode that Ryan is someone who hates to like things.
I am not someone.
Ryan is a person. He's a person that hates to like things.
Ryan is a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryan is your favorite imaginary friend, Ryan.
Yeah, he's such a strong presence in my mind that I manifested him.
Well,
reality.
There are a lot of things where like it's not a very good show, but they end on such a good cliffhanger that you begrudgingly say, yeah, I would watch the second episode because I'm curious. I gotta know what happens next. And then there are other shows that were really good, but you're like, I'm not like dying to click next on it. I'm like, okay. They didn't.
But here's my thing though. If it's a good show, then I want to watch more of it.
Right.
No, I don't necessarily need a cliffhanger.
Like they always had like a cliffhanger type thing too. Right? Am I crazy? I feel like they had a cliffhanger moment.
No, you're not crazy, Bridget. They're all crazy.
Did you guys watch the first Ted Lasso already? Did you already do that one?
Nope.
Can I recommend it?
Yep. Recommended here and now by Bridget Fitzgerald.
Watch the first Ted Lasso because then they can have biscuits with the boss while they watch it. And that's one of my favorite parts of that.
For those of you that are listening in, while Bridget said type, her hands were actually doing the dog paddle.
Yes, please. Once I get out of this pool, then please use your computers. Please help me. Oh, my swimmies.
All right, let's get out of here. So that's it, everybody at home. Please, if you'd like us to review something, say WTF. What was the show you just said, Bridget?
Ted Lasso.
WTF Ted Lasso.
WTF Rutherford Falls. I'm interested in seeing that one.
WTF The Circle Brazil.
WTF
Make them watch The Circle Brazil.
The Fall Guy. We would do it if somebody says
make them watch the Circle in France because Ryan at least speaks French. He could pick up on some extra stuff.
And I'll be like blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Monsieur, the whole episode will be subtitled.
There you go. Do it, guys. WTF the first episode of Wheel of Fortune.
But also, don't forget to tell us where we can stream these things. We don't have cable. We're not going to go rent a VHS and then buy a VHS player to hook up to our NTSC.
You should watch
tube.
the first Alone. I heard that's a good series on Netflix. Guys, I got plenty of ideas. People, guys.
Keep them coming.
Guys, people, beings.
So that's it. Everybody give us a like.
Friends of mine.
Please be sure to subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, comment below.
Bing.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is that this podcast was like the Poop Patrol. It was a thing where when I was a little kid and the dogs would poop in the backyard and my parents would make that one of my chores, and my brother, they called it the Poop Patrol, and we'd have to go and scoop up the poops out of the backyard grass and then dump it in the little mini trash can. And they called it the Poop Patrol, and they thought it was so funny. Oh, you guys got to do the Poop Patrol and we pick up the poops. So that's what this podcast was like.
This podcast proves once again that Ryan hates to like things.
But I like to hate things.
This podcast gave me a lot of insight into Ryan's childhood. So, I feel like I know the boys better. And also gave me an excuse to drive this van.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Let the passengers in.
Shh. Here we go.
You know, there was that one guy, I think it was like a comedian, that said that you could turn everything that a bus driver does into a dance move. If you don't know how to dance, just be a bus driver. Like you could be like this, or you could be like yelling at the kids in the back, da, 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 or you could be like adjusting the mirror, you know. Anyway.
That looks like you're just like taking free throw shots or something. Like,
really, everybody just wants to know. They want to know what they should remember. The thing that Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor with Donate Life America. And don't forget to watch the first of things.
Freeze frame.
No, we don't use freeze frames. He says that we use freeze frames, but we don't actually do freeze frames. We never freeze is the thing.
Freeze frame.
We just keep on moving.
Hit the front of the bus.
We keep moving and moving around so that nothing freezes.